Hello, Game Methuselah. I wanted to talk to you about an experience I had this weekend down at Kingdom Con in San Diego at the game convention. And I hope you indulge me a little bit here, but I thought about it a lot because of a gamer in our group, Zach Miles. He's the son of Dave. Dave is one of Matt Coviel's high school buddies, and he's been playing games with Matt for a lot of years. He's part of the original Pad group, and he's in our current gaming group now, as is Zach. Zach has never been, to my knowledge, unless it's changed recently, ever gone to a game convention and spent the whole weekend there gaming. And I think that's a shame. And if you have not done it either, I really think you should consider it. I have not done what I did this past weekend in San Diego in more than likely the last 30 plus years. I went there before the game convention opened, and I stayed until after it closed, a full 4 days of rabid gaming. The interesting thing about it is I went down with LJ and some of his additional friends of his that he met down there and others that came along, and all we were looking to do is play games. I ran no events. I played in no tournaments. I didn't run any promotional games for HMGS PSW to, get people to come to our convention in October. I just came down and gamed, and it was so very much like I remembered it from back in the day. I did some playtesting of games that people had brought to try to get public opinion on. And I like that a lot because it harkened me back to a game called Cosmic Encounter that came out in the 70s. And I happened to be there in San Jose when they brought like 50 hand-cut copies down to try to push the game into the public and get somebody, I think Parker Brothers was their original plan, to publish their game. It was really excellent and everyone had a great time. And at the end of the convention, they sold off these handmade copies to everyone to sort of really get the buzz going. And sadly, I don't think Parker Brothers published it. I think it was a smaller company. I think maybe Neo Games or something published it. But it became a big hit. I know it got lots of awards and for historical gamings. And if you've never played it, it's a really excellent game and you should give it a try. But what we did is we got there early and LJ and I just started pounding through games that they had, which amazed me, the extensive library that now is available at game conventions, where they'll freely give you these games to play, and you can play them and see how you like them and decide whether you want to buy them. And they had an extensive library in San Diego. Some of it we took advantage of. Now, a lot of it we brought, but the first game we popped through was a game called The Lords of Hallis, and the translation of the rules was horrible. And we had to sort of pound through and look at YouTube videos of people who've played it to try to figure out how the rules worked. But once we figured it out, it was a fabulous game. And the most interesting thing that I think both LJ and I discovered is of the over a dozen games we played over the weekend, almost all of them we liked. I think it's a wondrous time in gaming right now because there's so many good games out there, between what's getting published at the game companies and what's getting brought out in Kickstarter. I taught people how to play Cthulhu Wars. They hadn't played and they knew I was a big fan, so I sat down with them and taught them how to play, and I think it was incredibly popular, and they made a lot of fans, and I know when LJ went and bought a copy. It's a really great game, and the more I played, I suddenly was looking at games that I wanted to buy, and I don't normally buy many games nowadays because I have such an extensive collection and I play with people who have a lot, and I only have so much room, and mostly I'm trying to divest myself of games instead of include more. But it was great. If you want to check out a lot of the things I did, check out my Twitter feed, Jim Murphy at game_Methuselah. And you can see the pictures I took over the weekend of the various games that I watched. I was stunned by the War Machine and the Warhammer 40K tournament, some of the beautiful terrain and stunning miniatures that they brought out. Some of the painting contest figures were just incredible. But my point was, I really want Zach to get a group of his buddies together and go do a convention like this. You meet such great people. You play such new and interesting games. I think I must have played a dozen games I didn't play before. Some of them I never even heard of. A game called Archipelago I just fell in love with. And then I went home and thought, I'm going to buy this game and order it. And I went online and found out I guess it must be out of print. And people want like $180 for the game, which is a little much than I wanted to spend for a game I'm not sure I can get anybody else to play. But the point is there's lots of really wonderful games out there. And I think the thing at the game conventions you find is you get to see things that you want to do. You fall in love with miniature games. You can fall in love with board games and then take them back to your group or your meetup group and teach others how to play. And it becomes a lot of fun. And there's something truly unique about staying at a convention. Mostly over the last 30 years, I've had to come and go because I had a busy home life and fur children and sick family members and whatever to take care of. So I always had to go and game and then come home at night. I didn't get to sort of become fully immersed in the late night shenanigans that go on. But it was fun and I had a great time. And at the end there were so many games I'm now chomping at the bit to play. I wanted to just do a quick video of it. I want to say thank you and a shout out to the people who recognized me and came up and said hello. I had fun signing your DMGs. I had fun talking to you about gaming. I know a couple of you felt uncomfortable, like you were putting me out, but you weren't. It's enjoyable to hear that people appreciate what you're trying to do out there. And I've got a lot more in the plan here. So I think it's going to be really fun, at least for me, in the near future here, trying to get a worldwide role-playing campaign put out there that I can share with you guys. So hopefully I can get it done. We'll be able to get it accessible to as many people as possible. And hopefully I'll get a lot of positive and negative feedback to make it better so that you guys can utilize it for your own games. But for those of you who have, again, not, get out there and go to a game convention. StrategicCon in LA. The new people there are running really excellent conventions. I have not been able to go and expend anything more than a day there, but I sure want to. And I think I'm going to try to make a real point of being at the conventions here so that I can run events and we can enjoy the great group of players that are now in the gaming world and the fantastic games that are there. So you'll be seeing me a lot more at game conventions. Look for me. Don't be afraid to come up and say hi. I always enjoy talking to people about games. That's my passion. I've been doing it for 40 years. And unlike a lot of people who had to make their career in gaming, I didn't. I made my career in packaging. And it was always my hobby and love to be involved in games. And now it looks like maybe in the twilight of my existence, I'm going to go ahead and try to make a living in the gaming industry. So you'll be hearing a lot more about that in the future. But in the meantime, get out there and game and check out the Twitter page and see the games I played, and you'll see what I enjoyed. So I'm going to keep this really short and get off now. So until I speak to you again, which will be shortly this week, because I'm doing my next rollout of 5th edition Dungeons & Dragons in my Albion campaign for my playtest group down at Electronic Game Company in Orange County. Fight to me, devils, fight, for I hate peace. Game on.